Welcome to my first ever Reddit stream where I read posts on Reddit. This is the best of, just like best. So I'm assuming recent best. So we're gonna start with the first one. Delicious, delicious Reddit content. Yeah. So, I told my friend that I don't want to date him, and our friends are saying I broke him. Am I the asshole? So my 21 friend of 10 years, Mark, not real name, 23 male, called me yesterday to meet him for lunch, and that he had something important to discuss with me. I had free time, so I agreed. How long is this post? Okay, it's not too bad. I met him already. One second. I just realized something. Give me a second. Don't want Reddit to dox me. Anyway, back to what I was saying. This is now my wonderful VTuber account that I abandoned. So, I met him already there and joined him. We had lunch and we talked about some random things. Then he cleared his throat and started speaking. He told me first that he didn't understand why I was dating my now boyfriend when he's a better match for me. I asked him to explain, and he basically went on about how he liked about how he liked me when we first and he met me for what? How he liked me first and he met me first. He's more good looking, knows me better. He's taller than my boyfriend and more successful, which is not true in a way. My boyfriend works aside from growing up in wealth, while Mark's entire life is funded by his parents' money, lol. Whew. He told me he doesn't understand how I can be with him when he's always been around waiting for me. I was out of words and asked him if he wanted me to be honest, to which I said yes. I told him that I would never want to date him, given how I've seen the way he's treated his past girlfriends. He ghosts them when he feels like it and expects them to be there waiting. I told him he's too immature and irresponsible for me, and that dating him would be exhausting. I also explained that the reasons I mentioned why I was overtime, I started putting a distance to our friendship, because I didn't like the way he treated the woman in his life. When I was done, he was just quiet. He excused himself and left. I went home and went about my day. Later in the evening, our other friends started asking what I did to Mark, and then he's been a wreck since he met me for lunch. He's drinking and not telling anyone what happened. I explained to them what happened, and they were saying I was harsh, and that I broke him, blah, 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 blah. But I think someone had to tell him the truth. So Reddit fam, am I the asshole? I would say no. I would say no. Because, like, you can be blunt with somebody. You can be blunt with somebody and not, I don't think she was completely a dick. I think she was honest and blunt. And that in itself, sometimes it's hard to, like, take criticism for your own actions. And I think that that's kind of... Gonna go with no, guy needed a reality check. Yeah. Like, I don't think that he's... Like, I get why he's upset. Nobody likes being called out for bad behavior. But, this is something that, like... You know? When you do something shitty, you get called out for it. There's edits to it. Edit. I know everyone says this, but whoa, I didn't think this post would blow up so much. I'm trying to get through the comments and answer some questions that are there. We sort of occupied the whole day, so I just opened Reddit. Thank you all for the comments, honestly. Edit 2. I'm so overwhelmed by the comments in a good way. Most are really funny. I've been laughing so much I woke my sister's baby. I've sent my post to my friend not associated with Mark, and our group chat is blowing up with more laughter. But in all seriousness, I'm thankful for the great comments and people giving advice on my safety. I'll definitely be more aware of my surroundings going forward. I don't know Mark as a violent person, but then again, this incident has proved that I may not know him like I think I do. Mark is currently blocked from everything. Our mutual friends who were supporting him and calling me out are also blocked. And this is a learning lesson to me. Learning lesson to me to distance myself a lot more quicker next time and see red flags in future friendships. Thank you again, Reddit fam. Yep. There's no... They said that there's an edit, but they don't know if they can post it. Because the account's deleted. Yeah, this person's not the asshole. Like, I see why they might feel like an asshole, but they're not an asshole. They're just not. Let's do this one. I'm a mom of a 13-year-old girl. Oh, let me read it. Am I the asshole for believing my daughter and revoking her punishment after I heard her full story about why she got suspended from school? Okay. Simple build up. I'm a mom of a 13-year-old girl who was suspended from school last week. The school told me she had made an anti-Semitic remark to another student. Okay. I was horrified and grounded her immediately, taking away her phone, computer, and consoles. My daughter swore she hadn't said anything anti-Semitic and that the boy accusing her was lying. At first, I wasn't sure what to believe. She had recently become friends with a Palestinian boy who moved here from Gaza about 2 years ago. He is a U.S. citizen. Because his mom worked here and became one before moving back, but he does not have many friends at school. My daughter befriended him and included him in her friend group, despite the rest of them only being girls. This made me wonder if maybe she had been influenced and repeated something she did not fully understand. The school could not even tell me what was supposedly said. They told me the boy who accused her refused to repeat because it was extremely anti-Semitic. I called that boy's mother to apologize, but she would not tell me what the words were either. Instead, she told me I needed to make sure my daughter stopped being friends with the Palestinian boy because he was a bad influence. That made me feel very uneasy. Oh no. Oh no. I decided to call the Palestinian boy's mom, and when I explained what was going on, she said her son had told her the same version of events as my daughter. According to both kids, they were walking together at recess when he was telling her about losing relatives back in Gaza, his aunts, uncles, and cousins. My daughter said, "That's horrible. I hate that they did that to your family." The other boy overheard part of the conversation, jumped in, and said that he was lying, and later accused her of making anti-Semitic remarks. Ugh. After hearing both sides match, I realized I might have jumped to conclusions. I called the boy's mom back to explain that after I was not going to punish my daughter anymore since the story did not add up. I also apologized to my daughter for grounding her without any sure of the facts. Now, I am wondering if I had handled this all wrong. On one hand, I wanted to take anti-Semitism on very seriously. I am technically Jewish myself, but non-practicing, and the school did conclude that she was wrong. On the other hand, it looks like my daughter was punished and suspended unfairly, and I may have reinforced that by reacting too harshly. The admin of the school has a history of being a bit weird. This is Tennessee. Am I the asshole for grounding her before knowing the full story, then reversing it once I believed her? No, but I think that you should have done more to, like, you should have spoken, like, even if she had spoken to her daughter first, you should have called all the parties involved before you put any, like, punishments in place. Because, like, yeah, that's something that's serious that you need to, like, take seriously. So, you know, I think that she should have contacted the other people first. That wasn't the school. Contacted the other parent first. That's how I feel. I don't think she was the asshole, but I think she could have handled this differently. If that makes sense. Oh, this is gonna be deep one. I can't repeat it is short for I'm making it up. Yup. Here's a crazy one. Am I the asshole for saying I don't feel bad for my sister's killer after he died? Okay. My little sister was murdered by a group of boys a couple years ago. About a year later, the same group stole a car, crashed it, and 3 of them died. One survived, but is now paralyzed. The other day, I was walking through a cemetery with a friend. We thought it looked nice in the fall, and I happened to see the grave of one of the boys. He was one he was also the one who did other horrible things to my sister. I told my friend who said it was, and said I honestly don't feel bad. He or his friends are gone. That I kind of see it as karma. My friend said he was just 17. You can't hold a grudge against a dead 17-year-old. But I don't feel like I'm holding a grudge. I'm pretty numb at this point. But I'm not sorry for him either. I'm sorry he was what he was. In my head, it's like whatever higher powers out there just hit reset on them for the damage that they had caused so early on in their lives. Maybe there was no hope for them. I don't know, but it's not up for me. I have to move on and see the beauty that I lived. You know, I don't even necessarily have to, like, fucking read the rest of this. Like, I don't even think that he's the asshole for that. Like, I don't...
Digital Souls Park raided.
Hey, welcome in, Raiders! Hi! How you doing? What'd you guys do today? Hold up. Let me get my drink. Let me get my beverage. Hey, King! Good to see you. You hunted a robot. No, I can't lick anymore. That's tragic. I hope you had fun. For those of you who don't know who I am, hi. I'm the Bella Rose. I'm a VTuber specialized in tactical RPGs and RPGs in general. But right now, we're doing my first ever bout of Reddit content, because this has been something that people asked for. So... Reddit. It's like a frog. Instead of going ribbit, you go Reddit. Reddit. But I hope you had a wonderful stream. From what I was saying, so if someone kills your sister, you're morally obligated to shit on her. That's what I was saying. Like, I didn't even have to read the rest of it. Like, it doesn't matter if you're 17. Here's how I feel about it, right? You're old enough to know what's right and wrong when you're 17. You know that killing somebody or SAing somebody when you're 17 is wrong. There's very few exceptions to that rule. And that's usually people who are usually getting the extra support that they need. Straight to the gulag. Fucking, like, this isn't even a hot take. Like, no, you're not the asshole for feeling that way. 17 is far too old to feel that way, or to, like, not necessarily feel that way, to not know better. Like, that's not even a hot take or anything.
I will send you to Jesus.
This one sounds juicy. Don't send me to Jesus. I'm Mila. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter she had to break up with her boyfriend or move out after finding out his real age? I, 42 female, have a husband, 39 male, and a daughter who just turned 19. She's always been strong-willed and independent, but stubborn as all hell. When she was little, she wanted to do everything herself. Argued about bedtime, could throw huge fits over nothing. As a teen, it got worse. She was sneaking out, lying about where she was, refusing curfew, ignoring rules. My husband usually ended up and stuck in the middle of trying to calm both of us down. Sometimes we went hours without talking. Even with all that, she has a softer side, and we've always tried to work with her. She has had a manipulative boyfriend when she was younger. She was 16, he was 19. Legally, we couldn't stop them, so there wasn't much we could do. But we forbade him from coming into the house. He was controlling, jealous, isolating her from her friends, pressuring her into doing things she wasn't comfortable with. I know from catching them in the act, and from what my daughter had told me, he had snuck her out a couple of times, and she defended him constantly, lied to cover for him. We argued with her, tried to get her to see how manipulative he was, but she was so infatuated she didn't listen. It ended badly. She was heartbroken, and it took a long time for us to trust each other again, and for us to feel like she could make safe, smart choices on her own. Almost 2 years ago, she introduced us to her current boyfriend. She had just turned 18 and he was finishing high school. She told us he was 21 when we first met him, and she repeated it multiple times, both to me and my husband, and honestly, it made sense. He looks young, slim, baby-faced, dresses casually, hangs out with her friends, and just acted like someone in their early 20s. He has a very calm, steady presence, okay? He wasn't manipulative or controlling like her last boyfriend. Over time, me and my husband got close to him. My husband bonded with him over football, working on cars, grabbing a beer in the garage. I liked him too. He was polite, respectful, helped with dishes and other things around the house without being asked. He was affectionate towards our daughter without being overbearing. He'd spend hours just hanging out with her, watching movies, doing homework together if they were in the house. They were very clearly attached, but in ways we could see were healthy. She laughed more, seemed relaxed, and we could genuinely care. And wow, I cannot speak when I read stuff. Ah! And we could tell he genuinely cared about her well-being. It was last week when we decided to go out for dinner and invited our daughter's boyfriend along that I found out what I did. The waitress had to card us for drinks. His ID ended up on the table for a moment, and I happened to glance at it and saw the birth year was 1995. I didn't say anything then as to not cause a scene and did the math multiple times to make sure I was correct. He's 29, turning 30 in a few months. So that meant he was 28 when he started dating my daughter. She was still in high school. The next morning, I confronted her. She admitted she lied from the beginning because she knew we would freak out. She said it didn't matter she was 18 when they met, that she's an adult, and that I have no right to control her life. I told her it wasn't okay for a 28-year-old man to date my teenage daughter, and that hiding it for 2 years is unacceptable. She yelled back that I've never respected her, that I treat her like a child, and that I'm ruining her happiness. In the heat of it, I told her she either ends the relationship or moves out. My husband backed me in the moment once he found out what was happening, but later told me he thinks I went too far. He worried the ultimatum could push her closer to him and undo the trust we built. She's barely speaking to either of us now, and told my husband that if we force her out, she'll move in with him permanently and never look back. I can't stop thinking about her past relationship and that she was actively lying to us for 2 years. But I also feel like I might have gone about this wrong and hurt our relationship with her forever. Am I the asshole for giving her that ultimatum? Or is it reasonable to feel like I can't let this go under our roof? Ooh. Ooh, okay. All right. Yeah, age stuff always gets a little screwy, but like, here's the thing. This is weird because like, she's legally an adult. She's legally an adult. Yes, she's in high school, but she's legally an adult.
MILF Slayer gifted Thebri0 a subscription.
Aww.
Very nice. MILF Slayer gifted a tier 1 sub to Thebri0.
How nice.
They have given 213 gift subs in the channel.
Goodness. He has done his wifey duties. Lick now, Bri. Hi, Maddie. So, I don't know. This is weird. Because, like, yes, she lied. But, like, if they started dating when she was 18, then, like, I don't know. It's weird. Like, a 10-year difference is a lot. But, like, look. All right. Here's what I feel. Because I've been, like, not like completely in a similar situation to this, but I can understand. Like, I feel like One Piece is real. I feel like you. Hi, Lily. I feel like, honest to God, I feel like it would be a bigger problem if he was, like, in his late 30s. I would raise more hell if it was, like, this man's turning 40. The better question is, what does a 28-year-old have in common with an 18-year-old? Okay. People can have things that are similar that they like together, and even if there's that age difference. So, like video games or other things. I think that it looks worse because she's still a teenager. But, well, Aaron, in the US, the age of consent in like max in states, I believe, is 18. It's a weird thing. It's a weird discussion to have, because yes, you were wrong for lying, but I think that this kind of thing and threatening to kick your daughter out is kind of like, this is what leads to people cutting out their family, right? This is what leads to people going no contact with their family members because they're not supporting things like this. Ugh. What do you mean by that, Numb? I don't know if I love that.
Hey, may I Shadow the Hedgehog say a quick message? Yes, okay, good. I love big booty letting this chaos blast all over.
Thank you, Armin. Very cool. I agree with that. I agree with that. Cause like, saying that to somebody who's a woman is kind of crazy. Cause if anything, women tend to be the more mature people. A lot of the time. I feel like in a lot of Tara, you don't need to time it. Like if I don't like the response, then I will say it. You don't need to time it. Like I feel like when you are, yeah, women mature earlier and women's brains fully develop earlier. But I feel like once you get to like gonna say 23, 24 is when I feel like a lot more men can be mature. I feel like that's around the realm when there's a lot more men who are just openly showing, yes, I can be mature. I feel like that's around that time. And I mean, some men, everyone's different, but like, it's to like wrap women up in a bow of they're all mentally this age is kind of crazy. 23, 24 was a big maturity boost for me. Typically is. Because there's a lot of people who just, when you get to 23, 24, you have more experience under your belt. And I feel like a lot more women become more mature when they hit around 21, 22, 23. I feel like that 21 to 23 is the sweet spot for women. Well, with men, I feel like 23 to 26 is that sweet spot. But again, I'm just this random 21-year-old drinking Arizona fruit punch out of a can, so take that as you will. I don't think that inherently, I think both sides are wrong. She shouldn't have lied, and the mom shouldn't have reacted like that. But I mean, I feel like yeah. Let's read some of the comments. I would consider asking where she's going if she's gonna move out. There are a lot of these people who are kind of pulling stuff. Gonna be pregnant and other things. That's a weird weird thing to broach. Anyway, next one. Oh no. I don't like cheesecake, so no. Am I the asshole for taking a week away from my girlfriend after a miscarriage? This better be good. I, 22 male, after 3 weeks of trying to be there for my girlfriend, 20 female, after the miscarriage, it had taken a week to be by myself. I went out of state. I didn't visit any family or friends. I just wandered around a different town in a different state to adjust to what happened. I needed my space, which I told my girlfriend, who only got angry with me. She was difficult to deal with after the miscarriage. I was the one she blamed. She was mad at me for causing her stress by talking about our options. I didn't believe we were ready for a child. Our families were going to be supportive no matter what choice she made. I told her that over and over I wasn't going anywhere. She blamed my diet. I don't eat particularly healthy. I'm a picky eater. I also only like to eat lunch and something small for dinner, which I prefer to be around late around 8 p.m. This is what she complained about most. I got tired of her verbal punching, being her verbal punching bag over the miscarriage. I'd gotten tired of not being allowed to mourn. I grew so tired of being reminded by her every hour of every day about the loss. I couldn't handle her grieving, so I did leave. I didn't say goodbye or answer her texts or calls. The only ones I informed were my parents. Now she's considering breaking up with me because according to her and her mom and a few other of her friends, what I did was selfish. My parents disagree. They don't like how I left without they don't like how I left without informing her, but I was terrified of being gaslit into staying or taking long on the trip. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. On a deep level of thought, I don't mind if she did break up with me. How we handled the miscarriage was awful and we both didn't deserve that. Am I the asshole for going on a trip for myself? I feel like I'm allowed to be selfish in this case. I also feel terrible for my actions. I guess I need some reassurance for options. Okay. Okay. This is gonna be interesting. Okay. I see it from both sides. But I think that he deserves to go away, but I think that, like, depending on how long this was between the miscarriage and this trip, because if it was like 2 days after, oh, you suck, right? Like, you suck. Like, if it was like a month after it happened, okay, yeah. You said 3 weeks. I can kind of see it, but something I feel like a lot of people don't realize is that pregnancy and the hormones after pregnancy and miscarriages and things like that are going to potentially make you act different. And the woman or the person with the uterus in the relationship goes through a lot more turmoil physically and mentally than the person who's not carrying the child. So imagine being in her shoes, right? You want a kid, or even if you don't want a kid, you have this kid. You've been carrying it for 7 months, let's say. And you're in pain. You're cranky all the time. You're always hungry. And you have a miscarriage. Imagine how that would feel. I imagine that you're not going to be the nicest person during this time period. I assume you're not going to be the nicest person for around 2 to 3 months while you work through that shit. Because that's like 7 months of your time that is essentially being thrown out the window. Because, he's a giant dino nugget, go away. That's like 7 months of pain and mental stress that you've been put under. Now, I don't think blaming him for his diet is where it's at, because, like, you can be eating something different. You don't have to eat what your partner's eating. You can actively choose to cook or order other things. My only issue is that she's doing this to the only person who gets her pain. She should be comforting and him comforting her. Okay. I see it, but once again, he doesn't fully understand it, right? He was not the one who was actually physically carrying this child. There's some level of it to it that he won't fully understand. He's the closest, yes, but there's still a level to it that he will not fully understand. I think that they're both kind of assholes here. I think that if anything, this should have been brought to a therapist before he just left. Or he should have communicated better. And well, yes, being gaslit and verbally abused is never fun. I've been verbally abused and gaslit a lot in my time of being a human being. But it's a very difficult thing to discuss. Oh, so thank you for the follow. Everybody copes differently with different things. She clearly needed somebody to be there while she was going through the motions. It's hard because I've never been pregnant, but I can imagine what it's like. And if she had been pregnant for 7 months, that is going to destroy you. And you're gonna try to find whatever you can to try to rationalize it or put blame on something, even if it's not the actual reason. Because that's 7 months of your time. That's just you're trying to raise a baby in your body. I don't know. It feels like it feels like stabbing the person she asked for comfort because she wanted to take the blame. She was probably internalizing and put it somewhere else. He definitely sucks for leaving her though. Asshole move. Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying that she's not an asshole, but the thing is that 7 months of dreams turned to ash. Exactly. That is so much energy that this woman put into trying to bring a baby into this world. I think that I get why she's acting the way she's acting, but I think that he could have handled it better. Let's read some of the comments. People, you guys are really young. I think your relationship is done. You're only hurting each other by staying together. I think there's no assholes here. You both sound terrible for each other. Yeah. Kind of what we were all agreeing on. Thank you for the lurk. Kind of like what we were all agreeing on. They both just kind of suck. And don't seem good for each other. Okay. This is alright. Okay. Am I the asshole here for not wanting to have sex with my girlfriend at her apartment because of her 2 dogs? I'm very curious what this is alluding to. Are the dogs annoying? Are they, what is it? Cause Anyway, my girlfriend has 2 small dogs that are badly untrained. As most small dogs are. They are super hyper and have no understanding of boundaries. Whenever my girlfriend and I are trying to get intimate, the dogs will start jumping on us, scratching me, being overexcited and preventing me from enjoying the deed. A total buzzkill. One time, one of them even tried to lick my Oh! Oh no! Oh no! If we put them in the living room or in the crate, they will keep barking and whining the whole time. Not only it's annoying for us to keep them barking, but also the neighbors complain about it. Because of that, I told my girlfriend it's better if we don't have sex at her place, and she can come to my house instead, because they really don't enjoy having sex with her next to these dogs. She's saying I'm an asshole, and that I'm making her choose between her and between her dogs and I. I'm not telling her to get rid of the dogs at all. I'm saying I don't want to have sex with her next to her are these dogs, because not only do they want to get involved in whatever we're doing, it's very annoying for them to be barking, scratching, running around, jumping on us while we are doing stuff. I would say they're not the asshole here, but this just brings on a conversation of, are you planning to stay with her? Because these dogs will be part of your life. Like, that just brings in that conversation. Like, are you gonna stay with her? Or... I think she sounds unreasonable with the dogs. I think she just needs to get them trained. You can teach old dogs new tricks. Yeah, maybe if they had like a backyard, it'd be different. Like, I feel like if he wanted to have sex, just fucking put them in the backyard, bro. So, that's how I feel. Oh my god. Oh my god. Am I the asshole here for telling my sister she needs to lose weight if she wants to attract a better looking man? My sister, 26 female, has been complaining about the fact that she's not attracting the hot men she wants. Over the course of the last year, she's gained about 30 pounds and clearly looks worse for it. I, 23, of course it's a younger brother, thought she intuitively, or in whatever, that word, knew it was her weight causing this, and she was just venting. But today, she was venting again. But this time she said she just doesn't understand why she can't attract the men that she's used to. Oh no. I told her that it's because she's gained weight and that she needs to lose it if she wants to attract a better looking men. She blew up at me and called me an asshole and insensitive for making her feel so insecure. This confused me because a few years ago, when I was bemoaning how I couldn't attract a woman, she was the one who told me to lose weight and get a haircut, as if I was 50 pounds overweight. And her advice, I did exactly that, which worked. So I reminded her of that fact, and she said it's not the same. Am I the asshole here? I think that everyone here is an asshole. You don't tell that to people. You don't tell people to lose weight. That's a thing for your doctor to do. Like, I mean, there are dudes who are into bigger girls, but generally people who are into people who are in shape, just the way it is. No need to be mean to someone about it, but simply pointing out it isn't necessarily bad. Yeah, but I feel like it's a weird thing, because you also have to take into consideration why you're gaining weight, because sometimes there's other health things that is going on that has nothing to do with like necessarily your diet. Yeah, typically women just want to vent about that kind of thing, and they don't like legitimately want an answer. I know this because I'm like this. I mean, some people just naturally gain weight when even they don't eat much. See, I'm bringing that up because I actually had a issue that caused me to gain a bunch of weight that had nothing to do with my like my eating habits. Granted, I gained a lot of weight during 2020 and 2021, like a lot of weight. But the vast majority of obese people just don't bother considering their diet and exercise. Okay, I'm considered obese by many people. By my doctor, by other people. I'm active. I actively go out of my way and do active things. I think it's really about how you, the person, to be honest with you, because people can be obese and they can move around and not necessarily like be that way. Like, you can be, my mom calls it fit fat. You can be fit fat. That's what my mom calls it. Like, if you have a gut that hangs, but like you still, like, you know, function, walk, and run and other things, I'm like, yeah. I've never had like trouble attracting people, but maybe that is just more about my personality. I guess I'm fit fat since I don't have health problems except for my lungs, which I've had since I was 4. Well, yeah, that's another thing, is that sometimes you can't exercise too much because of lung problems. I have lung problems too. Just don't be a dick about it. Don't be afraid to point out something that seems like it's becoming a real problem. Yeah, like, if you are, like, I feel like pointing out somebody's weight and it becoming a problem is when things, one, actively you're not fitting into, like seats and other things. 2, you're just like, you're unable to move. And 3, you're just like unable to like sustain yourself. I feel like that is when that conversation needs to be had. But that's just me. That's just me. If this person can fit into things and are a functioning member of society, I'm not gonna look I'm not gonna make it a thing.